Can't believe it either. Snow is making its return early this week after some severe weather last week, after 70s this past week. Mm, Just an absolutely insane time in Kentucky. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. And yes, we are talking about another snow threat for late Monday going into Tuesday. In this video, we're going to break down the newest model data as well as showing you our latest confidence map forecast. And then we'll go over the numbers that we're looking at as well potentially. This one's going to be quite the headache. You know, you hear us say all the time that 1 degree can make the difference, and absolutely will be the case here for this system. So let's talk about all those things. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button. Let's get into the video. So here's the current alert day that we have out. Again, we're going to go over the model data as well so you can see it in real time what it looks like. But I wanted to start with this just to kind of show you where things are setting up at the moment. Of course, with a system like this, as we mentioned, 1 degree can make all the difference. So any little shifting can absolutely occur dependent upon the temperature a couple of thousand feet above our heads, not necessarily down here at the surface. We know we'll be hovering around freezing right here around the surface, and I'll show you that as well. Talking about more so above our heads, that's going to be the difference maker. So here's the current outlook. All rain in white, some flakes, mainly rain in that light blue or teal, whatever you want to call it. Potential or highest uncertainty in that dark blue zone. This is the zone where we feel like it may be a boom or bust potential where that 1 degree can really make all the difference there. So it could be anywhere from 0 inches all the way up to 4 or 5 inches. Again, there's potential there, but it's also the highest uncertainty. That purple zone is where we have the greatest confidence of snowfall occurring. Doesn't necessarily mean that's where the highest amounts are going to be. That's where we have the greatest confidence of snowfall occurring. The highest amounts is going to be just along that rain to snow line where the snowflakes are going to be absolutely massive. Key messages here on the left side. Greatest uncertainty exists within that exact placement of the rain to snow line, so amendments to the forecast may be inevitable. Temperatures will be hovering around freezing. This may lead to a boom or bust potential. Snowflakes will be massive, very wet, so the compacting of the snow may take place. So what you exactly measure outside may not exactly be the correct snowfall accumulation. When you get very wet, very heavy snowflakes, those can tend to melt a little bit on the ground and compact together, almost like a little bit of a soft sheet of ice. Again, we're not talking about a full-on ice glazing event, but there will be some ice involved with this. So let's go ahead and look at that model data. But before we do that, let's get a quick message here from our sponsors. FBI Buildings has over a half a century of experience in renovating, remodeling, and rebuilding any residential and commercial building. They also can give your pole barns new life. If any disaster does hit, be sure to go to FBIBuildings.com for a free quote. Digital Solutions in Radcliffe, Kentucky is a family-owned tech shop. Be sure to repair or purchase any device from them and keep the business local. Thank you to Kayla and her team for supporting WNK. It's a good idea after this harsh winter to make sure your roofs are ready to go for the springtime storms. If you're in or around Hardin County, make sure you check out Hyper Roofing at the link on your screen. And that link, by the way, will also be in the description below. I could list all of their accolades, but just know if I trust them and recommend them to you, that my word is good. Get ahead of the storms by making sure your home is ready for them. Right Implement has over 15 locations throughout all of Kentucky and making it convenient for you to go shop with them. They're our longest standing sponsor and we appreciate them so much for their support. They have so many things from outdoor apparel to outdoor vehicles to things to help you on your farm. Right Implement is such a phenomenal company and someone that you really want to support in Kentucky. Thank you so much to Right Implement and to all of our sponsors. We appreciate you. Let's get back into the video. Here's a quick look at the North American model here. I want to start with the temperatures. So hang on here with me. Then we'll go through the actual precipitation and what the model is calling for. And then we'll look at some other data as well. So I want to start here. Let's go ahead and advance it for 24 hours. This is valid for Monday morning around sunrise. You can see temperatures hovering around the upper 20s to low 30s. As I kick this forward, you'll see we'll actually see a little bit of a warm surge there going into the low 40s throughout pretty much all of Kentucky. So again, we kind of warm up before the event starts here. And then we have going to the Monday evening hours. Again, this is valid for on Monday around dinner time or so. Now we're approaching the upper 30s for a lot of folks. Advancements forward to late on Monday night going into early Tuesday morning. You'll still see mid 30s for a lot of those folks along the parkways to points north. And then upper 30s for a lot of those folks between the Kentucky and Tennessee border to the parkways. Advance this forward to Tuesday morning around sunrise. You'll see those temperatures are starting to come down a little bit more. Now we're hovering right around freezing for those same areas north of the parkways. And then advancing us forward to Tuesday afternoon, again, hovering right around that 32-degree mark. I'm telling you guys, this is going to be real, real close. Now, of course, you can get snowfall to occur 34, 35, even 30. I've even seen snowfall occur all the way up to almost 40 degrees. So the exact temperature at the ground really doesn't matter as much as the temperature above our heads. So speaking of those temperatures above our heads, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here are the temperatures above our heads for late Monday night going into Tuesday morning, according to this model. So again, different models may show different things. This blue and green is kind of your freezing line. So here we have 0 Celsius, that's right at 32 degrees, 1 degree Celsius, and then that blue is where you can start to go below freezing. In an event like this, you almost need to be in this blue or even -1 to -2 degrees Celsius. You almost need to be a little bit colder to overcome those surface temperatures, just a smidge. So advancing this forward to Tuesday morning, you'll see that freezing line really rises and it's battling between the warm air and cold air. It's battling. Where exactly this freezing line sets up, several thousand feet above our heads, is going to be the absolute key factor, crucial point, whatever you want to call it, to whether you see rain or snow. And there may be periods where the freezing line scoots a little bit north, comes back a little bit south, scoots a little bit. You see my point there. It may just pivot over and over again throughout the morning on Tuesday. And this may lead to periods of rain, snow, and just, again, creating an absolute headache of an event to forecast. Advancing this forward, you'll see what I mean. It kind of goes a little bit north, tries to dip back south out here in western Kentucky, before it eventually gives way to the warm air, eventually creates a warm surge, a warm nose, if you will, into central Kentucky, and kind of gives way to the warm air and lifts off to the north into Indiana by Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. So whatever snowfall we do have may not stick around too long. So that's the good news here. If you're not a big snow lover, we're not talking about being locked into into your homes for several days here like we were in January. We're talking about a real quick thumper, and it may be a big thumper. We might see some snowfalls approaching double digits in some places, but it won't stick around too entirely long to cause several headaches here. So that's your temperatures. I wanted to now pull up the precipitation type and the reflectivity map that we're looking at here for the North American model. Again, advance this forward to just around Tuesday morning, late Monday. This is right around midnight Monday going into Tuesday. You'll see some precip does try to start around that point, but it's around the early morning hours on Tuesday, around that sunrise time frame, 5 to 7 a.m. on Tuesday at this point, Eastern time, where the rain tries to convert over to snow. So something really cool is going to happen during this event. We're going to need dynamic cooling to occur in order for snowfall to happen. And I do think that's the case, because in order for dynamic cooling to occur, the rainfall or precipitation rates have to be incredibly hard. And I do think that rain or snow will be incredibly hard with this event. We're talking about a lot of liquid in a short amount of time. So we do know that those liquid rates will be quite high. So I don't think we'll have a problem achieving dynamic cooling for places along and north of those parkways, basically in that purple zone. It's that blue zone where things become a little bit more hairy, and you can see it for yourself here. So there's that rain to snow line that we're talking about, and there it kind of just botches back and forth between rain and snow, and that's where that greatest uncertainty is along those parkways there and around those general areas. Advances forward, eventually, once again, it kind of gives way. You'll see that warm nose trying to surge in there, but then on either side of the warm nose, it does show snow. So we're going to have those periods where some folks may go back and forth between rain and snow, and that's going to be helping to compact the snow on the ground, basically squish it down, make it real nice and tight. Advancing this forward around Tuesday evening, eventually that rain snow line makes it all the way up to the I-64 corridor, according to this model. Some models don't have that warm nose ever coming up. It has along the I-64 corridor between that and the parkways as all snow. So again, this is just one model. Advancing this forward, rain and snow line does try to come back south right at the end there, as you can see, does try to come back south if you look along the river there and along the river in central Kentucky. But again, it's just going to be a constant battle of 31 degrees versus 33 degrees. And scientifically, that 1 degree makes all the difference in the world at 32. So that's the North American model. I will show you this because, again, I know this is going to flow around the internet anyway, and I want you to see here with me first. It does show a whopping 7 to even 13 inches possible between the I-64 corridor to the parkways, especially east of I-65. Again, some spotty higher totals out in western Kentucky along the river out toward Owensboro, maybe even Henderson, Kentucky. Again, this is just one model, just one run. Do not take these amounts verbatim. Do not go rummaging the shelves at Kroger for milk and bread. First of all, I don't think you're going to be stuck in your homes too entirely long, no matter how much snow you receive. And number two, this is just one model. But it does show you the potential if that line can stall out just a little bit. So that's North America model. I do want to show you now probably the GFS model. Again, I think these are the two models maybe handling it the best so far. The European model does seem to be coming into the idea as well. But just for time's sake, I'll kind of show you this. So it does have it starting around the same time as the NAM model did. This one's a little bit earlier, 3 to 7 a.m., which, by the way, would help to increase snowfall rates. The more time that we get snowfall to occur with that sun down will help to maybe try to influence that freezing line to stay a little bit further south. So got to keep that in mind as well. Advancing this forward, this is about for Tuesday around 6 a.m. Does have that rain to snow line well south along the parkways there, maybe even south of the parkways. So once again, just to point that out, a little bit of difference in the model data there. Advance this forward, does keep that rain to snow line well to the south. I don't personally think from historical standpoints that it will be this far south. I just don't. I think it's somewhere around the parkways that we talked about earlier. But again, that could absolutely change. So advance this forward. Tuesday evening still shows a nice swath of snowfall occurring in central, western, and eastern Kentucky, and has it almost so far south that it almost cuts out northern Kentucky. So again, I do think this is a little bit too far south, just from my own POV. But once again, it's absolutely a possibility that's on the table. Advances forward, by the way, you'll notice that this model has hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of snowfall, whereas the NAM model was a real quick but very heavy event. We're talking about the NAM model being going 8 to 10 hours, but some folks receiving up to a foot of snow. That's a really quick, really big, quick event. GFS is a little bit longer with it duration-wise. Actually has snowfall all the way from Tuesday morning until Tuesday around midnight, and then it finally kicks out if you're trying to show some more on the backside, but we're not going to worry about that just now. We're going to focus on this one. So for the totals from this model in particular here, are going to be a little bit healthier along the parkways and just to the south. Once again, have that rain to snow line to the south. And the closer that you are, this is another tricky part. The closer that you are to the rain to snow line, it's actually going to be the bigger snowfall totals. So if you're just on the freezing side of the line and you're very close to it, you're actually going to have the chance to have some of the heaviest totals out of the state, because that's where the biggest flakes are going to be. They're going to be coming down incredibly hard, incredibly fast. We may be talking about 1 to 2, maybe even 2.5 inch of hour rates. So it's going to be incredibly heavy stuff, falling incredibly fast, and the snowflakes are going to be massive. So that very wet, heavy snowflakes that make those great snowmen, the great snowballs, good sledding. This is that type of snow that we're looking at here. And again, it has the heaviest totals down here. This is one model run, so do not take this verbatim. Again, we saw it look different on the other models, so don't go run to the Kroger or the Walmart and do all that stuff. Here's the European model. I'll show you this real quickly. I'll just show you the totals. You kind of got the whole timing and everything down there. I'll just show you the totals from this model just to add more context. It does show a little bit more similarly to the North American model that we looked at. The GFS is kind of an outlier for now. Again, I think the GFS might be a little bit too far south. The European model does go a little bit lighter on the snowfalls. It does have a nice swath of 3 to 6 inches or so out here in central eastern Kentucky, from Lexington to points east, maybe Maysville, out toward Ashland, Kentucky. And then it does show some heavier snows down here for the higher Appalachians. Down here in eastern Kentucky, lighter snows out here to western portions. The heaviest snow really starting around the Eatown and Hardin County area, and then going to points east there. So again, this is just one model, one run here. But you can see I've shown you 3 models, and we're within 24 hours of this event starting, really. Well, 36 hours of this event starting, really. And all 3 models have a little bit of a different idea. So models really aren't agreeing too well on the exact snow placement. They are agreeing well on the timing, but the freezing line is what all models are struggling with right now, and it's going to continue to be a struggle until the event really starts, until we really know exactly in real time where that line is. So again, that's what the model data looks like. That's what our alert day forecast looks like. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. Look forward to our social medias for more updates on this event. Until then, stay safe, Kentucky.